Hello everyone, welcome to today's news chatter. Let's begin with a prelims practice question. Look at this question. Consider the following statements regarding the public interest litigation, a very interesting topic and a very important topic also, a favorite for UPSC. They keep asking about it in prelims or even in mains. Two statements are provided, which among the above is correct. First statement, it is an Indian invention. So there are a lot of things which are Indian inventions, but public interest litigation is not an Indian invention. It is about judicial overreach, judicial activism. So usually when it comes to judicial activism, etc., it is the United States of America which plays a major role. So PIL is also an invention of United States of America. Second, the concept is explained in a law but not in the constitution. It has not been explained either in a law or in a constitution, in the constitution. So it has not been explained at all in certain verdicts of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has told what exactly is a PIL. That's it. Other than that, we do not have a clear idea about the PIL too. So both the options are wrong. Both the statements are wrong. So the option is D, neither one nor two. Chimeric antigen receptor T cell. Chimeric antigen receptor T cell therapy. So recently, the CAR T therapy, that is chimeric antigen receptor therapy, has been proclaimed as a proper solution for cancer. And the experts have been telling that in future we will have CAR T therapy for all kinds of cancer. What exactly it is for science and tech, it is very important. In mains, they might ask or might not ask. In case if they are asking, they can ask for a 10-mark question. But in prelim, there is a very good chance of asking about it because this has been very famous in the recent times only. So listen to it very carefully. This particular therapy involves genetically modifying a patient's T cell. T cell is thymus cell. It is a immune cell which is produced by the thymus gland in the body. So what they do is they will remove the T cell and modify it in such a way that it will affect or it will attack the malignant tumor cells. So, for example, if I have blood cancer, so what exactly is the cause of blood cancer? How my blood cells will change to become a cancer cell? That will be studied. And they will remove the T cell from my body and they will modify it in such a way that these T cells, when injected back into my body, will go and attack that blood cell which is tumorous in nature. So this is how the therapy works. So T cells are actually a type of white blood cells developed from the stem cells in the bone marrow and are a vital part of the immune system, defending the body against infection. So this is a normal fact which everyone knows. T cells are collected from the patient through a process called leukapheresis. So this process is important. Try to remember this. What exactly is leukapheresis and everything you don't need to know. It is just a process used to remove the T cell from the body. And then they are modified. In the laboratory, they will modify it to express certain proteins called chimeric antigen receptor. So chimeric antigen receptor are certain protein which will kill the cancer cell. So this T cell will put out some proteins which will help in killing of the cancer cells. The gene responsible for encoding CAR is developed synthetically in the lab and they will use a vector to deliver the CAR cell into the patient's T cell. So we need to modify the T cell. So we need to modify the internal structure of the T cell. So how do we do it? We will use a vector. The vector can be a bacteria or anything. So they will introduce the changes in the bacteria and they will make the bacteria to affect the cell. So let me just explain things in a simple way. A person will have cancer. They will remove the T cell from his body. They will modify it. How do they modify the cell? They will introduce a bacterium inside the cell. This bacterium will carry the DNA or RNA that will modify the T cell. So once the DNA gets modified, they will inject back the cell to the body of the person, and this T cell will start acting against the cancer cell. So the cancer will be cleared. This is a simple idea. Only one point you need to know: leukapheresis. This is the method which is used to remove the T cell from the body of the people. PSLV orbital experimental module poem. PSLV orbital experimental module. Everything is there in the topic itself. PSLV is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. It is a launch vehicle. But what if we use the launch vehicle as a experimental module? Launch vehicle is generally used to put the satellite into the track. That's all. Their life ends there. But what if we use the PSLV itself, the launch vehicle itself, to do some experiments? Then it is not a wastage. So this is the idea behind PSLV orbital experimental module. So three different variants are there. Now we have launched the third variant, that is POEM 3. ISRO has said that ISRO has said its PSLV C58 or ExpoSat mission has practically left zero debris. Why it has left zero debris? Because let's say Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle have three different stages. The first and second stage will fall back into the atmosphere itself, that is into the ocean. The last stage will get into the space. So generally what happens is once it launches the satellite, the rest of the PSLV will roam around in the space itself, which will get converted into a debris, that is waste. But in PSLV, that is poem 3, what they did is the last stage will act as a experimental module also. So it is not a debris, it is not a wastage. So the last stage of PSLV used in the mission was transformed into an orbital station. This orbital station is called PSLV Orbital Experimental Module 3. Before and once its lifetime gets over, once the poem module has completed all the experiments and everything, it will re-enter the atmosphere and fall back into the atmosphere so that it will not be converted as a space debris. So how do they do it? Let's say the poem module is rotating around the earth at 650-kilometer height. Then they will deorbit the module so that it will enter into 350 kilometer from the earth. Once it enters inside the earth, drag force will act on this module, and most of it will burn down once it enters itself, or the rest of the things will fall back into the earth, into the ocean, in a place where we can determine. So no wastage is there. Mostly no wastage will be there in the space. So this is the idea. ISRO also said it passivated the state, means reduced the height, meaning dumped its fuel also to avoid an explosion. Whatever extra fuel was there, it has dumped the fuel also so that it will not explode completely. So this is the idea behind POEM module. Wildlife rescue in India. So today there was a very nice article in Hindu. In mains examination, these kind of questions can appear under environment topic of GS3. So you need to know what exactly is wildlife rescue. In case of wildlife has encroached into the city or into the village, in that case the forest department will capture it and rescue it. It will not kill it. They will rescue it and then put it back into the wildlife itself. So what steps should we follow so that the wildlife won't get affected and the people also won't get affected? So these are the way forwards which you can mention in your answer. First thing, realistic assessment of the situation. First, assess what exactly is the situation. Limiting any factor that can cause stress to the animal. Make sure the animal is also not stressed and agitated, because when the animal gets agitated, it starts attacking the people. Proactive mitigation strategies should be drawn out already. It's not just during the problem. Already you should have a proper strategy for each and every animal. In case if it is a cheetah, what will we do? If it is a tiger, what is the plan? So this should be there. Making any intervention on ethical means. That means the people also should not be affected. Animal also should not be affected. And when you reintroduce the animal into the forest, make sure you are reintroducing it in its habitat itself so that it can survive later. A very good example to this is Karnataka's forest department's measures. It can be mentioned as a case study or an example. The Karnataka government, because its city, especially Bangalore, is located very close to Bandipur and Western Ghats, there are a lot of cases where wildlife will get into the city. So they have designed a proper measure for it, which other states can also adopt. They have proper early warning system, regular monitoring, fencing, better lighting, public education. This is very important. Public should be educated about the problem, and proper waste management. Because when you dump animal waste or unnecessary wastage in generally on the roads or in the outside of the national park, etc., these animals will get attracted to this waste. So they will come and get into the villages or into the cities. So these problems should be avoided. Relocation of a wild animal disrupts two ecosystem. Usually, whenever they relocate, what they will do is they will just put it into a forest region. But that should not be done. A lion should be put in a place where it will have good amount of prey, where it is a natural habitat for it. So this should be avoided. We should make sure we are relocating the animal in the proper way. A very good point which you can use for your mains answer writing: measures to improve PM Mitra. PM Mitra is integrated textile region, developing integrated textile and apparel region. That is the PM Mitra scheme. The problem with PM Mitra scheme is they wanted to launch 7 different textile parks in 7 different states of the country. But until now, only 2 states have started working on this. One is Gujarat and second one Uttar Pradesh. Other states have not even launched the special purpose vehicle which will develop the project. So textile parks were told as a project which is going to bring back India as a textile manufacturing country, a big textile manufacturing country. At present, our textiles are facing huge amount of problems, but they are a non-starter yet. So what measures should we take? For mains, it is very important. The ministry, the textile ministry, which is launching the program, they should frame a comprehensive national textile policy. They should have a comprehensive national textile policy. That is first thing, which is very important. Then why to restrict with just 7 PM Mitra parks? Launch more parks so that other states can also get benefited. Out of at the present problem which I told, totally 7 approved are there, only 2 have started with the project. So what the ministry should do? They should find out reason for the delay. Every state might be having different problems. Find out the reasons and work on it. Central government can reduce taxes or duty exemptions such as CGST, the central GST exemption, etc., can be provided so that they will start the work easily. Special incentives can be provided to women entrepreneurs so that women will be happy to work in it. We can provide special incentive to SC, ST women so that they will be ready to work in the parks. So the PM Mitra Park is developing huge mega parks where everything will be there. Weaving, and then making it into clothes. There are 5 different Fs they tell, from the farm to the fiber, and then to the factory, and then make it into fashion, and then export it into foreign countries. So this is the 5F approach. So they tell everything will be there in the park. So if you need to develop it, make sure you start the project first. Make sure investment comes in. Make sure the state and the center are working together in it, so that the project can be launched as soon as possible. So these are all the measures you can mention in your answer. So that will be all for today. All the best. Study well. Let's meet tomorrow.